Alright, let's keep playing Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All. We're in the first day of the trial in Turnabout Big Top. Somebody has killed the ringmaster. December 29. Oh wait, December 29? It's almost New Year's. 9:43 AM, District Court Defendant Lobby number 5. Good morning, Max. Max! Milk! Nani? If I don't have a glass of milk before I go on stage, I just can't function, sweetie. Stage! Don't worry, there won't be a stage, all you have to do is sit down. I guess. Nick? Max is really nervous. Well, give him some milk. That's understandable. Hey, my sweeties! Nani? You don't think I should fly, do you? No, don't fly. Huh? You know, you've got to make a good first impression. No, don't fly. When I enter the room, maybe I should fly in and warm up the crowd a little. No. We can't be having you flying around the courtroom. It just wouldn't be right. Imagine if you hit someone. Yeah. About that. Don't worry, Max, just do what Nick says and everything will be okay. Oh, sweetie. What is it this time, Max? Why don't you try flying into the courtroom? I can see it now, the dashing young lawyer flying fabulously in from above. One glimpse of that and everyone in the room will be on your side! No, they won't. Max, really, no one needs to fly today. Nick? What's with that look in your eyes? Uh-oh. I like the sound of that dashing young lawyer flying fabulously. December 29, 10 AM, District Court, Courtroom number 2. And now the case of one... Nani! Your Honor, get on with it! Oh, sorry. I just realized that the defendant's name is Billy Bob Johns. So... Well, isn't the defendant also known as Maximilian Galactica? Yes, Your Honor, he does often go by that name. You know, my grandchild is a huge fan of his. I think everyone here wouldn't mind if we call the defendant Maximilian Galactica. It sounds more friendly. What's wrong with Billy Bob? I wonder if that is to our advantage. Miss Von Karma, your opening statement if you please. I hope you didn't bother thinking you'd win this one, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Why not? I won the last one. Oh ho 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 ho! Eh! That spirit channeling trial was a sham! I refuse to acknowledge its legitimacy. Well, why are you here? If the court is not legitimate, why are you here? It did not count. Do you hear me? Sure, I hear you, Von Karma. She must still be upset about what happened last time. You have no chance. Zero. Zilch nada. I'm not losing this case. That's what you said last time. Why, you ask? Because it's not in the nature of a Von Karma to lose at anything. Your dad lost. You've lost. I guess being born with the name Von Karma is a free pass to be arrogant and annoying. Sure. Watch and learn, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'm watching. I'll show you the textbook procedure for proving how absolutely guilty you are. Alright, go on then. Me? Guilty? What are you talking about? It will be my ultimate revenge. But it's not like you'll bring her dad back. There, opening statement complete. Now let's hurry and wrap up this waste of time. This is so stupid. Very well, you may call your first witness, Miss Von Karma. Detective Dick Gumshoe, get up here now. Sorry to keep you from work, as I'm sure you need every penny you can earn, Detective. Don't mention it. It's no trouble at all. I've been looking forward to this. Very well, I would like you to begin by shedding light on the events in question. At your service, sir. Alright, detective, you may proceed with your testimony. The night of the crime, snow was falling until 9:40 PM, making it extremely cold out. All of the circus performers were gathered in the big top to practice their routines. The practice session broke up around 10 PM. The murder itself took place in the plaza in front of the lodging house at 10:15 PM. The victim was found bent over a wooden box, dead as a doornail. The cause of the death was blunt force trauma that snapped a vertebrae in his neck. What's in the box? I see, he was beaten to death. Here is the autopsy report for the victim. The court accepts this into evidence. Time of death 10:15 PM, caused blunt force trauma to the back of the head. Right. A blunt object. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Details of the events. The night of the crime, snow was falling until 9:40 PM, making it extremely cold out. Let me ask you about the snow. It was nearly a blizzard up until the time of the crime. Okay. Did it pile up? It wasn't such a big deal. Maybe about 1.5 inches was on the ground. A blizzard? 1.5 inches of blizzard? That's not right. The snow froze in place and stayed on the ground until the next day. The snow. Let me see. There's got to be more to this. What's the matter, Nick? I need to take a look at the court record. Mr. Gumshoe, what were the members of the circus doing at the night of the crime? Hold on. I look at the court record. The snow was piled up about 1 inch. I mean, sure, that's about it. Why did we need to check the court record? I mean, there's no other footprints. That's one of the big problems. All of the circus performers were gathered in the big top to practice their routines. When you say all of the circus performers, who do you mean? Everyone but the dancers and staff were there. Regina the animal tamer, Mo the clown, Ben the ventriloquist, and of course the defendant Maximilian Galactica and his victim the ringmaster. Oh, I almost forgot, Regent the tiger was there as well. Out of curiosity, what about the circus monkey? When I was investigating yesterday, he happened to snatch my wristwatch. Detective, you are welcome to file a police report after the proceedings. The practice session broke up around 10 PM. After the practice was over, where did everyone head off to? Regina was playing with Regent, while Mo went back to his room tired from work. Mo was at his room. And the guy died just outside, blunt force trauma. And Mo didn't hear anything? Ben the ventriloquist went to the front gate, absorbed in his own world. The ringmaster and Max went off to the ringmaster's room to talk privately. Talk privately, huh? That's awfully suspicious. You wouldn't happen to know what they were talking about, would you? It seems they were negotiating Max's salary. Actually, Max was asking for Regina's hand in marriage. The murder itself took place in the plaza in front of the lodging house at 10:15 PM. I'd like you to be a bit more specific about the events at 10:15 p.m. Okay, not a problem, pal. We've got a witness that told us how the whole thing went down. Ah! This is totally meaningless time to move on. Alright, we'll just have to revisit the testimony later. Detective Gumshoe, would you mind telling us how the victim met his end? The victim was found bent over a wooden box dead as a doornail. A wooden box? That's right. The victim must have been carrying the wooden box when he was killed. Carrying the box, huh? It was a rather strange wooden box, Your Honor. What do you mean? Well, it was much heavier than it looked. Not to mention, it was locked. Locked, you say? Wooden box added to the court record. The victim was hunched over this 20-pound box. It boasts a small but strong lock. This may be my only chance, so I might as well ask some questions. The box. This wooden box, you figure it weighs about 20 pounds, right? Sounds about right. The whole thing is lined with iron. Iron plating? Why do you think it's lined with iron? I figured they just did it to make sure the box heavier. I think we could all do without your guesses, Detective. Stick to what little you actually know. Sorry. Suffice it to say, the box is really heavy. Much better. You may continue on, Detective. The cause of death was blunt force trauma that snapped a vertebrae in his neck. Hold on. Can I ask more? I can ask more, right? About the con lock? You said the box was locked. How exactly was it locked? Well, it had quite a sturdy lock on it. It took quite a bit to open that bad boy up. You opened it? So when you found the box, it was locked, correct? Yes, it was. Some of the forensics team took it back to the precinct to crack it open. I see. Continue, Detective Gumshoe. No, go back. Contents. Do you mind telling us what was inside that box? Well, when we found the box, it was locked tighter than Fort Knox, so we took it back to the station and cracked it open. All that was inside was this little bottle. Huh. Bottle? What is that, Detective? Exactly what it looks like, Your Honor. It's a condiment bottle. What's inside the bottle? It's filled with pepper. Pepper! Why in the world was it locked inside that big box? There was only one little bottle in that huge box? I wonder if that's some sort of special meaning. Small seasoning bottle found inside the wooden box. The victim was hunched over. It contains pepper. What? It contains pepper. The cause of death was a blunt force trauma that snapped the vertebrae in his neck. Press. According to the autopsy report, the murder weapon was a blunt object, correct? You've done your homework, pal. That's not homework. And you haven't found this murder weapon, have you? The police are searching for it as we speak. My theory is that it is something the perpetrator ran off with. You would think so, especially since you didn't find it on the scene. No, I bet he made it disappear with magic. Well, I think we have a good feel for the details of the event now. I guess that's all we're gonna get out of Gumshoe in this case. You mean all we're gonna get out of him is that little bottle of pepper? Now that we have wrapped up with the detective, I'd like to call my next witness. Hey, I'm not even off the stand yet. Obviously, but that is due to you being slow and unable to take a hint. I don't know. But wrapped up has such a mean sound to it. I'm a sensitive guy. Thank you very much, Detective Gumshoe. You may step down. Miss Von Karma, call your next witness. I would like to call Mr. Benjamin Woodman to the stand. She must be talking about Ben the ventriloquist. I wonder if Trilo will show up on the stand as well. Probably. Please state your name and occupation for the record. My full name is Triloquist. I'm employed as an operatic tenor. Excuse me? The witness called to the stand was one Mr. Benjamin Woodman, ventriloquist. That robe must be cutting off your circulation. I said that I was a singer. Maybe you don't believe me. Fine, I'll grace you with a song. Ahem. The world of the law, exciting and daring, guilt or innocence. Decided by a judge dressed up like a woman. Well, what do you think? It had a good rhythm. It's just the lyrics, they leave something to be desired, so to speak. Trilo, you know better than to insult a judge. Shut up! Just look at your nose. You would think you'd have a sense to fix it. It's so ugly I want to punch you in the face on the off chance swelling would help. You know your nose is... You know that your nose is the reason you'll never be an A-list star. Celebrities must really enjoy saying everything that flashes into their minds. What's going on here? Order! I demand to know who the witness is. Don't worry about me, sir. I'll let Trilo handle this. I'm not worried about you one bit. I'm worried about getting tested. Ah! You won't get anywhere trying to figure out this witness. Now let's proceed. Once practice was over, I left the tent with the stooge, I mean clown. Once we got to the lodging house, I ditched him and went back to the plaza's entrance. That's when I saw Max heading towards the scene of the crime. He was the only one heading that way. How could that punk not be the killer? Wait, you saw him heading that way, you didn't see... You didn't see, the ringmaster? Then the police showed up and took Magic Boy away. You saw Maximilian Galactica heading towards the scene? You sure of that? Without a doubt, he's had on his silk hat, cloak, and the dumb white roses on his chest. How can you mistake someone with a crazy getup and his nose stuck up so high? That's enough. I think we all get the picture. Just one thing, you said you ditched the clown. That's right, dress boy. Well, since you went with him, couldn't that mean the clown committed the crime? He's got a point. Thanks, Judge. Thanks for doing my work for me. What a shame. It was a nice theory, but the clown can't be the culprit. Why's that? Here's absolute proof. A silk hat. This was found at the scene of the crime. It belongs to the defendant. So, he was framed. Ah! Without question, he was wearing his signature hat during practice. If the clown was the murderer, there would be no reason for this hat to be at the scene. Well done, Miss Von Karma. Your prosecutorial skills are unrivaled. Well done. Thank you for stating the obvious. Mr. Phoenix Wright, what do you have to say? Okay. I guess she's the boss again today. The clown. You are talking about Mo. Of course I'm talking about that old fart. He's so pathetic I can't stand him. Just a little bit of exercise and his makeup is all running all over the place. Once practice was over, he was 9/10 of the way to keeling over for good. Poor guy. We didn't have any choice, so Ben took him back to his room. When it comes to being a first place loser, that guy's ahead of the pack. Then what happened? Once we got to the lodging house, I ditched him and went back to the plaza's entrance. Why the plaza's entrance? To do some thinking, of course. It was awfully cold out that night, especially with all the snow around. Wouldn't thinking in your nice warm lodging house have been a better idea? Mr. Phoenix Wright, I think you should leave the thinking to the witness. But I'm a good thinker. At least my teachers always said I was. That's when I saw Max heading towards the scene of the crime. Are you sure it was really Max Galactica? Of course I'm sure. How can you mistake someone wearing such a snobby three-piece getup? Snobby three-piece getup. Get the wax out of your ears, lawyers nowadays. It's like talking to a brick wall. Max's three-piece getup. Geez, could you be any more dense altogether now? Silk hat, cloak, white roses. Thank you. Nick, I think you should put a little bit more effort into preparing your questions. He was the only one heading that way. How could that punk not be the killer? You saw Max and only Max, right, Trilo? That's right, and that makes him the killer. There was only one person hidden that way that night. That makes quite a bit of sense and makes Max one of suspicious character. There's more to this story than meets the eye. Is there something amiss? Ben only saw Max. I mean, there's a couple of things. There's no proof it was Max, and he only saw Max. Hold on, let me just save the game. He didn't see the victim. Ben only saw Max? That's a bit strange, don't you think? What's strange? That you only saw Max. Doesn't it seem like you should have seen someone else as well? What? Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Who else do you suppose this witness could have seen? That's the victim. That's correct. If Trilo was at the entrance to the plaza, he should have seen the ringmaster as well. Ah! Obviously the ringmaster arrived at the scene of the crime before the witness. Could have seen him. Anyone with sense could have figured that one out. What are you talking about? The ringmaster and Max went together to the ringmaster's room. Is that, according to the defendant, a likely story? If Maximilian Galactica was supposed to be in the ringmaster's room, why was he, just as the witness stated, at the scene of the crime? I see. It seems that at this stage I have no reason to doubt this witness's testimony. Are you serious? If he didn't see the victim... Gumshoe said earlier that Max and the ringmaster went to their office, whereas the clown and Ben went immediately. No, there's no way they could have missed each other. And there are clearly no conclusive contradictions. He's right. A brilliant judgment, Your Honor. Now let's move along with the testimony. Trilo wouldn't happen to have an ulterior motive for incriminating Max, would he? Well, Max is part of that bit of love triangle with Regina, which is probably why Max conked him over the head. Nick, wasn't Ben the one who got knocked over the head? Yeah, I think so. I don't know anymore. Then the police showed up and took Magic Boy away. He was the only one heading that way. How could that punk not be the killer? Around what time did the police arrive at the scene? I suppose that would have been... Hey, what time was it? Huh? I think it was around, say, a bit after 10:30 PM, I think. Practice ended at 10 PM, so you hung around the lodging house the entire time? I guess that sounds about right. Wasn't it awfully cold? I can't believe you just stand outside in that weather. Well, the truth is... Will you shut up, you big-nosed dope? Why are you telling him anything extra? Why can't you believe that we just stand outside in that weather? Well, maybe you were waiting for someone. What? Who said we were waiting for someone? Mr. Phoenix Wright We can all do without your offhanded theories. But this witness, he's cracking under the pressure already. I'm onto something. Mr. Wright. Who do you suppose the witness was waiting for out in the cold that night? Who? Regina Berry? Or the monkey? The monkey? I have no idea. I have no idea what the game wants from me. Well, if he was waiting outside in the cold, it was for one person. And one person only. He was waiting for the animal tamer, Regina. Wow! Hey, the puppet exploded. You were waiting outside for Regina to come back to the lodging house. Am I mistaken? Is this true? Well, you can't really ask me that question. Who cares who I was waiting for that night? What's important is what I saw, don't you forget it. Well, well, well. The puppet may be a bit stiff, but he's right. Alright. There is obviously a reason why this witness was there that night. He spent all that time waiting for Regina to arrive. Moreover, even if someone else would have walked right in front of him, I doubt he would have paid them a second thought. Ah! That makes perfect sense. What did you just say? The witness saw the defendant at the scene of the crime. However, he did not see the victim on the way to his eventual demise. If you accept that, then you must accept that there is a high likelihood that he could have missed someone else other than Max. Ah! There is absolutely no proof that the witness was waiting for the animal tamer. I guess you got me. Alright, I spilled the beans for real this time. Good one, Trilo. Hey, that's great. That's great. Just spill the beans. It's true, I was waiting for Regina. Pain! Don't volunteer things he already did. Mr. Quist, tell us the truth this time, and I mean the whole truth. Were you or were you not waiting for Regina at the entrance to the lodging house? I was! I was waiting to propose to her. You were what? Waiting to propose? What's the matter? You think humans have a monopoly on marriage? The matter of puppet marriage is not under review in this case. You're the judge! I mean, look at your horrible outfit. More pain! Thanks to your bumbling, my perfect plan is not so perfect anymore. Von Karma, I don't know if you realize, but this is literally a circus. Next thing, you're gonna call the clown as your witness. We are literally in a circus. There's no perfect plans. Now we have to waste time getting to the bottom of some silly proposal by a puppet.